So let's start today by taking a very quick look at where we've been so far. So at Awesome we've decided that May is going to be the month that we scaffold leaders through the whole idea of getting connected. We've done a piece on becoming a connected leader, and then on Monday we started looking at how we can access Twitter without even having an account on Twitter. So the open access level of Twitter and some of the great hashtags that we crowdsourced from Ontario educators. Yesterday we took a quick look at some of the websites that are available online for educators to find information, and we crowdsourced that as well, so we have a great list that's building. Today, if we go to our Leading in a Networked World and choose Collecting, then we come to the page to find out that today we're going to look at what other educators are thinking by reading their blogs. And it's based on the 30 days of getting connected from November on day 2. So when we go to that site, we find that we've got some information here on blogging in Ontario. Now, luckily, Doug Peterson, who's a wonderful person who connects Ontario educators all the time, has created a site called Ontario Educators that contains all of the current blogs that he knows of. Now, I know that after Salno last week, we have a few more to add to this list, so that's exciting. You'll also notice that on the Awesome site, on the left margin, we've included the links to blogs of school and system leaders throughout Ontario, and we're going to take a quick look at a few of those today. So I know Sue Dunlop has been very busy through the month of April because she did a blogging challenge that asked her to blog every single day, and that's really commendable. So it's worth going in there and seeing the work that Sue did all through April. Also, Nicole Morden-Cormier, who in November when we first wrote this was the SEF Early Years Lead in Superior Greenstone, and who's now a superintendent, models the learning that she wants to see in classrooms with her blog. And she has all of her leadership learning team work on her site, and it's a really great model for superintendents who want to see how their blog can be used to share learning. There are some other Canadian bloggers that I want to draw your attention to. George Couros does quite a lot of work in Ontario, and he has a blog called The Principle of Change, really worth checking out. Another Canadian blogger who's recently been in Ontario doing some speaking at the On the Rise K-12 conference and the recent winner of the Ken Spencer Award for his iHub school that he's the vice principal of is David Truss. And you may be familiar with David's work. His Paradigms blog is actually quite famous and has many, many followers worldwide. So another blog that you might be interested in is one that's called Connected Principals. And this is where a group of principals from around the world post together in a collaborative fashion. So it's really an interesting one to follow. It gives you an idea of what's happening in the world of principals, not just in your own province or in your own board, but quite a wide span of information there. Now I'm going to bring up a different browser for a moment because I want to show you how to follow some of these blogs so that you can get regular updates. But before I do that, I want to show you how over the last week a number of Ontario educators have become new bloggers. We had a conference in Northwestern Ontario called Salno, and George Couros was the keynote speaker, and since his visit we've been really excited to see how many more administrators and school leaders, school and system leaders and teachers have been making their learning visible. Now I have to work with a few of these new bloggers to show them how to make it really easy for others to follow their blog and get regular updates. This one is particularly exciting because this is a classroom in Northwestern Ontario who's doing some work with worms. They're very excited about them, but what I love about it is that the Ojibwe language is being used, and so it's a place where all of us can go and learn some Ojibwe words. So when you want to follow a blog, and here's one by Grant Wiggins that is an exceptional blog, really worth following. You'll notice that many blogs have the opportunity for email subscriptions in the margin. If you click on that and say sign me up, all you have to do is include your email address, and every single time there's a new post to the blog, you'll receive an email about that. So you just fill in your email address or sometimes it can just pull it automatically if you happen to also have an account with the blogging platform, and Awesomemook is a WordPress user. It can pull your email address automatically. Another blog I would highly recommend is the Languages blog. Fabulous work around blogging and making thinking visible. And so on this one, you would just enter your email address here and click subscribe, and you would get regular updates. And the last one I'm going to talk to you about today is Jackie Gerstein's blog. Jackie does a lot of work in Ontario as well. She's known to many of us, and she has some really great work, particularly around maker culture and maker spaces. But you can subscribe to her blog as well by email right here. Just click the link, and then you would get regular updates on this as well. So my challenge to you today is to find some blogs to subscribe to and get in the habit of reading different blogs, especially from those other leaders in Ontario, just to see what's happening from their perspective.